Hi girls, these are the notes for 3B, finding the shorter side. I think we talked last week about how the hypotenuse of the right-angled triangle is always the longest side. The hypotenuse is always the longest side. And I'm going to try to get a better picture of this. Yeah, I think this is better. Okay. And so we know when we have the A and the B and the C, the hypotenuse is the long side. So in this case, we know the hypotenuse already. So we need to remember Pythagoras' rule, which is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. We need that. And then we need to remember how to solve equations. The one thing I do want to mention is surds, and that's that sometimes I get a square root of a value. And when that comes up, we'll talk about it in our example. Okay, so let's go here. It says, in each of the following, find the value of the pronumeral b, okay, or pronumeral, sorry, and then round. All right, so A says A, B, C. This is the A, this is the B, and this is the C. I know this is the C because it's the long side. So I have to write it like this, A squared plus B squared equals C squared. So it's weird. Last week I was always getting this number, and now that's the number I don't know. Okay, so the first thing I do is try to get the A by itself. So I take this, since it's being added, and I subtract it. Okay, so I do my solving. Take 15 squared, take 15 squared. And then I just grab my calculator, and I go 17 squared equals 289, and 15 squared equals 225. And I do that maths, 289 minus 225, and I get 64. Oops, here I am. And then to get rid of that squaring, so you know what I did here. I took this over, then I squared each one, then I subtracted, and I got this number. Now to get rid of that square, that's the part that people were confused about a little bit at the beginning of last time, so remember it. To get rid of this, you have to do that. Okay, so here I go. A equals the square root of 64. Okay, so this from here to here, I just took the square root. So I'm going to go on here and go square root, right, it's right here, square root 64. And I get 8. That's the answer. Beautiful. Okay, I want you to pause and try this one on your own and see if you can get it, and then come back. Okay, so I have x squared plus 7.6 squared equals 10 squared. X squared equals 10 squared minus 7.6 squared. So this becomes a subtraction problem. In fact, let's just type this in. Let's do 10 squared minus 7.6 squared. That gives me 42.24. I just typed it in all at once. Now remember to get rid of the square. That's the important part. You have to take the square root. And up here it says round to 2 decimal places. I'm not going to care about this exact answer for a minute. Okay? So I go square root 42.24. And it gives me 6.4992, blah, 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 blah. And I want 2 decimal places. This is a really hard one to round because that's what I'm rounding to. So I'm actually rounding 49, and that 9 makes it 50, so it's 6.5. If you didn't round it correctly, I wouldn't be so worried, okay? I'm not that worried about that. Okay, now the very last one is probably the hardest one. And it says, they give you an X here and a 3 here, and they don't even give you anything for that side, which is really creepy, okay? But these hashtags, remember what that means? That they're the same size, so that's an X. So I get X squared plus X squared equals 3 squared. We're going to go over this one in class together too, but in case you're watching this after. When you have an X squared plus an X squared, it's 2X squared. So many people, even the smartest of kids, get confused by this. I'm going to square the 3, it's 9. They get really confused, and you just have to remember this, that x plus x equals 2x, and x times x equals x squared. All right, so since I'm adding, I just add the numbers in front, and the numbers in front are 1s. And I'm going to divide by 2. 9 divided by 2. 9 divided by 2. 4.5. See what I did? 4.5. I don't have my light on very good here. There you go, 4.5. And then I do x equals the square root of 4.5. Okay, well done.